Welcome to Hey Dad Podcast. Real dads, tough issues, and a genuine love for a fatherless generation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hey Dad Podcast. I'm Rick Rivera. This is
Chris Lawler.
And hey, man, we're here to talk about men's issues, dads' issues.
That's right.
We're dads. We have a lot of years of experience, chewed a lot of dirt. You know,
And we got a heart for a lot of young guys that either don't have a dad or they don't have the greatest relationship. For whatever reason, they need an alternate voice from an available dad. That's us.
Yeah. You know, hear what we have to say, reject it, accept it, grab the things worth grabbing, ignore what you don't like, because we're coming very honest, very from the heart, and, just take what God gives you out of this conversation.
So what are we talking about today?
Okay, I'm going to have to frame this one. What you need to know about women.
How many hours is this show going to be?
I know. We have to laugh about it because the one thing you realize the older you get is you don't understand, and you come to peace with that and you understand parts of it and you hold on to those parts. And so it's a really kind of a dumb thing to say is how to understand women. But in this, what we think we have to offer in this is this. We have nuggets. There's things in life we learned that are really important, have really blessed our marriages, our relationships, our relationships with our daughters, and we want to pass those on. So these are nuggets of understanding, of information we have.
What's your record? How long have you been married?
Next month I'll be going on 27 years.
Yeah, and we just passed our 40th.
Oh, nice. See,
Yeah.
20s, yeah. So we've been married long time.
Yeah.
We're not. So in other words, we could disqualify it, but at the same time, we've been very successful.
I tell people, I just had my 40th anniversary, and it's the best 30 years I had.
Yeah.
In my life. 10 years in there. I don't know.
But that's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
And there's people out there smart enough to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
And there's others who learn. There's different personalities, but some people stop and they listen because mistakes come with pain.
A fool will learn by the stripes of their back, but a wise person will learn by the fool's stripes.
Is that Proverbs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawler's Proverbs.
Okay. So
how do you understand women?
Okay. Well, one thing I understand is this: they're different.
Yeah, they're not men.
They're not men. They don't
not men
think
with
like
boobs.
us.
And believe me, that's what I thought.
You really thought
when I got
that?
married, I kind of thought that women are just kind of men with boobs.
That's interesting.
Sort of,
Way off. I was raised with no sisters. I was raised with two brothers, an uncle, and a tomboy grandma. And I had no femininity in my house.
Wow.
So, but I've always been in awe of women, like a loving respect. Like, they're so different, man. What the heck?
Yeah.
Why are you upset? What did I say?
Man, I remember driving with my wife-to-be before we were married, and we were driving to the circus. It was a long story, but I was in Boston and taking her out on a date. I was looking at her up close, and it dawned on me, she is feminine down to the last cell of her skin.
Yeah.
It's like she is not male in any aspect.
Right.
Not the hair, not the skin, not the way she talks, not the timbre of her voice. There's nothing male about her. So a complete alien, like from another planet. And that's why they write the book, right? Men are from Mars, women from Venus.
It's true.
They are from a different planet.
Here's a snapshot of that difference. If a woman gave one of us, if our wives gave us a membership pass to a gym, we'd be like, oh, cool, they have free weights? If we gave it to them, well, you think I'm fat? and that's so true. Dude, but see, that gives us a difference. And the problem is, though, is that creates a minefield. And man, as men, do we step in it sometimes?
Oh, man.
And in our world, it's fine. But we're not in our world at this moment,
we're really you're looking at the basic difference between men and women, but then the cultural difference.
Yeah.
The way a woman experiences life is very different than us.
Yeah.
They don't live a male life. They don't have a male experience through life.
True.
And it's a mistake to think that they are under the same forces and the same expectations that a guy is.
Yeah.
They're not. In many ways, they're under way more difficult.
And you know, there's no one true formula for everything. So we're kind of speaking generally, but honestly, the differences we're talking about are pretty standard. Pretty standard. You know, another one is like on your first date, you'll be out with a woman and you're thinking, oh, she's beautiful or she's hot. You know, oh, am I going to get lucky? You know, that's where a guy's mind is. A woman's looking at the man like, well, what kind of father would he be?
Right.
Is he going to be able to provide for me? They're thinking so far down the road. It's like, whoa, don't even, if she said it out loud, it'd freak us out, you know? I mean, but women are different. Women, and it's funny. I think it's God-given instinct in a woman because they're going to be the bearers of life and they need to make sure it's going to be okay.
Right.
And they instinctively know they're going to love that child and they're going to have to care for it, you know?
Yeah, so it's a generality, and there are exceptions to every rule, but most men are looking at the moment, women are looking at the future.
Yep, exactly. And another thing too, women, in my experience, they will become a little overwhelmed because they'll think about 4 or 5 different issues at the same time.
Right.
And this is a blessing. I look at one issue at a time. Oh, okay, I put it down, then I'll grab the next one and worry about that. But I don't put them all up at the same time.
Yeah.
And I laugh about that, but you understand, it helps you to be a little more patient and understanding about some of their concerns. And a lot of times women are right. They're just flat out right. You know, like they're peacekeepers.
They see the problem differently than we see it.
They do.
And a lot of times they arrive at the solution faster than we do because we can't see what they can see. Now, a lot of, you know, when we started talking about the idea of even approaching a subject like this, we know we're chipping the ice away of an iceberg that is enormous, that has taken years and centuries to write the vast volumes of knowledge about how a man and a woman relate to one another. We're not expecting to give you everything you need to know. But we do want to bring you back to the most foundational, fundamental ways to be with a woman in an understanding way that gives you a chance to learn on your feet.
Right.
You know, because you're not going to figure it all out before you meet one. You got to meet women and you got to figure it out on the fly.
Right.
That's a little bit different.
So let me throw this one out there, and I got this one from a conference called Love and Respect. It's excellent. If you're in a marriage and you need a pre-marriage and you want to find a conference that's going to really help you understand women and help your wife or future wife understand you, look up this Love and Respect, and they have conferences throughout the United States at different churches. But in that one, I learned this one about conflict. A woman prefers to have a closed loop. They don't want to end something without resolving it.
So if they enter in a conflict, they need to get to the end of it.
They need to come full circle to the end of it.
Within what time frame?
Right now, yesterday, you know. So here's the problem, though, guys. And I think we can understand this. When we argue, we separate. You know, I'm going to separate because I'm going to say something stupid, or this is going to get ugly. I don't want it to. So out of respect and love, we disengage. Because we have to, because we're getting ratcheted up too much. So a man will disengage, but to a woman, that feels unloving. He doesn't love me. And to a man, that's dumb. Of course I love you. But to a woman, there's an insecurity there, and she wants to bring this issue to full circle. So she's just riding you now. It feels like she's riding you.
What seemed like one of the hottest conflicts with my wife early in our marriage. Mm-hmm. And I did not separate. Instead, I decided I was going to stay engaged. And I felt like I was getting revved up. I was just getting stoked. And I got so furious, I maneuvered my wife to the end of the sofa and pushed her over the arm of the sofa so she'd land in the sofa. It was a mixture of violence with concern for her safety, at the same time. But I was just so boiling over. And then that's when I had to get out of the house. And I realized that she doesn't have the skills to manage this volcano.
Yeah.
Only I know that.
Right.
So sometimes I have to remove myself so that I don't do something that can't be undone.
Yeah. Exactly.
And even that, pushing her over the sofa, that's been a feature, that's been a marker in our marriage all
I was
these
going to
years.
say, I know that one comes up. It raises
It's
its
never
hand
happened
every
again,
year.
but it's always there.
You know, but that's the funny thing, though. But disengaging to them feels very unloving.
Yeah.
They need to bring this thing to a close. You're shutting down on them. Now, you're not shutting down on them to be mean. You're shutting down on them so you're not going to do anything stupid.
Right. But they don't read it
They
that
don't
way.
read it that way.
Because they're not reading it with a male mind.
Yeah. Doesn't it make sense? Let me step back and cool off here because I am getting way too up about this. So, just going into conflict understanding, she needs to come. See, a lot of guys are like, man, she keeps writing me. I walked across the house. She went to the other side of the house and followed me, and she won't get off my back. Won't get off my back. Where do these terms come from? It comes from their need to close out an issue. And so I have a story attached to this. I was at a elementary school open house for one of my kids, and I have to get to work. And my wife knows I got to get to work. I've always been a little intense about work. And so she starts talking to one of the teachers and mothers there, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I told you I got to get back to work. I told you.
Right.
So I'm fuming because in my mind, she doesn't respect what I do. Like, it doesn't even matter. Hey, guess what? This is paying for the food on the table, and I'm mad. So I'm in the car, and I snap at her. I don't remember what I said. I snap at her, and I'm burning up. And as we're driving down the street, I remember the understanding that women need to come full circle on the issue. So I didn't have anything to say because I was so mad. All I could say is this. I know I'm supposed to say something. I don't know what to say right now. I'm sorry. And what did she do? She's like, okay, I forgive you.
Wow.
It broke it. See, normally I just would have went quiet, slow burn throughout the day, but that's very painful for her to do. She needs to come full circle on an issue. So understand why they're trying to come. They're coming full circle. One is because they love you.
Yeah.
But unfortunately to us, it comes off like, get off my back. I need space.
Yeah.
They don't get that.
This kind of goes to a fundamental thing and the difference between a man and a woman. The thing that a man needs the most of from a relationship, believe it or not, it's not love, it's respect.
It's respect, yeah.
And what does that mean? That means I esteem you. I appreciate what you're doing.
Right.
I have empathy for how difficult it is, and I admire you for doing it.
Yeah.
That is crack to a man.
Yeah.
If a man can get that from a woman, he almost needs nothing else. Almost.
Yeah.
On the other hand, what a woman needs from a man is to be cherished, is to know that she's chosen and she's cherished. Look at all the women's movies, like Lifetime movies, or even Disney movies where the woman's a princess or she's a queen. These are all movies that appeal to women because women are the focus of cherishing.
Yeah.
And they're honored and they're given the royal diadem and
Right.
they're made number one. They want to feel like they are cherished.
Right.
And respect, if we give a woman what is meaningful to us, if I pour respect on her, boy, you really cooked that meal great. I really love the way you work, and I can't believe how good you are playing the piano, or whatever it is. It's like, that'd be nice, but
Yeah.
it won't hit.
Yeah.
It won't hit.
Yeah.
But saying, you know what, honey, I love you, and I'm so thankful that you're the one that's in my life. And I am dedicated to you. Everything I can do in life to make life easier for you, I'm there for you. That's love. That will water the garden and it'll make things blow.
But here's the problem with us guys. Of course I love her. We don't think to say it out loud.
Why do I have to say it?
Yeah, I'm working 50 hours a week. What else?
Isn't that love?
Yeah,
Don't you see that?
do you really need the words? I'm giving you my life here.
Yeah.
See, it doesn't make sense to us. But it's like you're talking about the respect part. Women sometimes will break us down, not even knowing they're breaking us down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we got to get out of this small apartment. Oh, I'm a loser who can't provide for you. That's what we're hearing.
Yeah.
And they're not. And what are they thinking about? They're thinking about our benefit, our children's benefit. They're doing it for a
They
different
might even
reason.
think that this is motivating.
Yeah,
this kind of
exactly.
thing is motivating to the man.
Yeah, and it's breaking us down. They need to understand that part, but this show's not for them. This show's for us on our part. So,
Yeah.
show her love, man. Love her, and say it. Even though you think she should know it, say it, guys. Please say it.
Yeah, use your words.
Yeah, and even if let's say you're not the wordsmith, hey man, I'm so clumsy about this, but I really love you. Oh my gosh, dude, you will melt her heart, and it means a lot. It doesn't matter if it comes out clumsy or smooth, and if you're smooth, take it smooth, you know what I mean? It's all good. But verbally tell them how much you love them. Tell them you love them constantly and always. And this seems a little silly to us, but they need it. And you'll be taken care of.
You do it and you see what happens.
Yeah, see
Hide
what happens.
little notes around the house.
Yeah,
I love you. Just write it on a post-it and hide it someplace where she'll see it.
exactly.
Those little bombs will blow up in
Yeah.
her face and make her feel like she's the most loved person in the world.
That's true.
When I got married, I'm not bragging, maybe I am a little bit, but I didn't know how to be married. Other than I knew I needed to get married because my woman was the hottest woman on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And I was going to burn.
Yeah.
I was going to just light on fire any moment if I didn't actually get the deal done. So I did everything, did all the courting, did everything I could. But the vision I held in my mind was that, Susan, you're going to be the most loved woman on the face of the earth.
Right.
That's my commitment, is I'll make you feel like the most loved person on the face of the earth.
That's awesome.
I had no idea how I was going to do that,
No, but that's the right start, man.
Yeah.
Where did you even get that from?
I know, right? I think that got dropped on me by God.
Wow.
Because it set a vision that led me into learning how to do that. Now, I pull a lot of bonehead moves. Remember, one of the first ones I did, out of love, thinking I'm loving you, I bought her a car. And I went and bought a 1973 Chevy Malibu.
Oh,
Beige, bland beige. It was such an awful, bland car. I thought, oh, this is reliable. It'll serve us well. She'll be so appreciative, and she'll fall over and give me props for thinking of her so thoroughly. But all I did was make her feel like the most kept and controlled and domesticated creature.
wow.
It hit completely wrong.
Yeah.
It was such a bad move, and I paid for it for years because I couldn't bring the car back.
I one time, okay, I think I'm so funny, right? My wife wakes me up in the middle of the night to tell me she had a dream. Now, mind you, she wakes up, she had a dream that I cheated on her. And the first thing out of my mouth, because I'm so funny, is, how'd she look? Okay.
I think that's funny.
It's hilarious. She didn't get it, and she was angry at me. And I'm sitting there going, "Are you really angry at me? That was Dream Rick. It wasn't real Rick. You can't do that." So no, just be careful with her feelings. But one time a friend of mine really opened my eyes to something. I used to tease my wife a lot. I used to call her Fun Nazi because I'd be like, "Oh man, let's take the kids to the beach. Hold on, we have to go visit your mother because of this." Like every fun idea, she had her finger on the buzzer. Like, let's go to Disneyland, guys. We got to, man. They have this going. Oh, but honey, hold on. We need to put our money for this, and she would torpedo the funnest ideas, right? So I used to tease her, call her Fun Nazi. Hey, Fun Nazi, get your hand off the buzzer, but listen to this idea, right? But one time I'm talking to a friend of mine, and he was a Christian guy, good guy. And he told me, he goes, "Rick, let me ask you something. Anything she's ever shot down, has it been for her selfish reasons or for the greater good of the family?" My wife, everything she did, that every one of those moments, because we needed money for the kids to go to karate, or we needed to do this for this reason. There was always not a non-selfish reason behind what she was saying.
Yeah.
Man, that made me feel bad. I'm beating her up for doing what's best for the family, and she's taking my hits in front of the kids because I'm upset. But it made me realize, ask yourself the question, is she making me frustrated for selfish gain? Or is it for the greater good of what you love or your relationship?
Well, see, there's the thing. It's like it made you feel bad in the moment, but in the long haul, actually, it makes you realize she's covering territory that I'm not even aware of.
Exactly.
She's looking at management issues
Exactly.
that I've been free to throw off of my mind and only think about fun. At the same time, I am the one bringing a lot of excitement into our life that she can't anticipate.
Yeah.
She can't see it because she's so burdened by the management of the house. This is a basic male and female difference that at first glance seems like they're going to be eternally in conflict all the time. But the reality is, if you learn to sync them together and they work together, then you get the best of both of these things at the same time.
Right. There's a term, complementarian versus egalitarian. Complementarian means you believe that a man and woman together are whole. Egalitarian means, no, separately you're fine, Mm-hmm. But I'm a firm believer that my weaknesses are my wife's strengths and her weaknesses are my strengths. I've really learned to respect her, and I bounce a lot of things off her constantly because I want her, and she does the same with me. But I understand that her strengths are really profound and beautiful and off my radar. So I learned to know that I don't know. So but we think so much alike. We don't really have that problem too much. But when we do, or when I have an issue I'm thinking through, I'll always bounce it off her, and out of respect for her opinion.
Well, that's a veteran move.
Yeah.
And it means you've been around the block and you've done this for a while.
Yeah.
When you're a young person, you're just getting connected with a woman, maybe you're newlywed.
Yeah.
The game there is you can't expect you're going to understand all those moves.
Right.
Because that's at the end of a learning curve. But what you do have to do is you have to stop, set down all your expectations of who she's going to be. She's not going to be your sex slave.
Yeah.
She's not going to be your maid or your chef or the one that just does everything that you hate to do, not your babysitter. All those things, set all that stuff aside and commit yourself to discovering who she is.
Right.
That means you got to explore who she is.
Right.
Tactfully, not garishly and not in a bossy way, but you talk with her.
Right.
Women are verbal.
Oh, yeah.
Far more verbal than a man is most of the time.
Yeah.
In my marriage, sometimes it's the opposite way, or I'm a little bit more of a word meister than my wife is. But the communication is incredibly necessary, especially in the beginning.
Right.
If you spent most of your time just sitting on a couch talking about things, talking about how you feel, talking about dreams, talking about things you want to do, things you didn't like to do, things like that, all that data goes in.
Yeah.
All that data goes in, it'll find its own slot, and you begin to build a database, basically, on who your wife is. And that makes, the stumbles and the stepping on toes much less frequent as you move down the line.
It kind of touches on another one. Don't shut down. It's easy for me as a man to shut down on my wife because
explain what shutting down is.
Emotionally shutting down. I'll be there right next to her, but I'm shut down.
Because you got hurt.
Because I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm just too tired to think about the issue. So I'm on blah, 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 blah. And that's all I'm hearing because I don't want to hear it. But that's a very cruel thing to do. It's okay to say, hey, honey, I just got home from work. I need some space here. Help me out. But it's not okay to emotionally shut. Men do this a lot. Well, and what do? They do it with video games. How many times do you see guys mindlessly looking at the video screen, playing a video game? They're just shut down.
Yeah.
When you emotionally shut down, there's a problem. And it's not just in emotional issues. For years, I shut down on my wife with finance. I make the money. She's a stay-at-home mom. You got the check. You make it work. And because I coming back from work exhausted, mentally exhausted, and I didn't want to deal with any of the finances. So I shut down on her, and I left her alone. I abandoned her.
Yeah.
But when it was time, hey, let's take the family to SeaWorld or whatever. Yeah, let's do it without thinking through the financial consequences.
Right.
And I left that woman on her own.
Yeah.
And then I was emotionally shutting down on her because I didn't want to deal with it. So I would highly recommend don't emotionally shut down. But at the same token, there's nothing wrong with saying, man, honey, I just got home from work. Or I'm dealing with this right now. Can we take this up tomorrow? I just need a little space.
Yeah.
I don't want to shut down on you, so I'm trying not to. I've had these talks with my wife.
Yeah. Well, see, the beauty of how that works is that you are securing the space you need
Yeah.
to stand down, but you're saying this is not over.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not cutting you off.
Right.
I'm simply going to defer this to when I have better assets to deal with it.
I'll even say I'm not at my best right now, and I don't want to give you this version of me. This is an angry, frustrated version right now.
And that's a wise man right there.
Yeah, but I learned all this stuff, through tears and trials, because, Chris, we share this, and I think a lot of people out here share it. No one taught us these things. Like, I didn't watch my father and mother did it. I didn't have them to watch to do it. You watch them do it wrong.
Yeah, my parents fought like Wolverines.
Yeah. Yeah. So
constantly.
So when you're not given these tools as a child, how do you change a spare tire without a lug wrench? And you try to use a screwdriver to change a spare tire. We weren't given these things. But I do believe that I've always submitted my marriage before God. And I know the Holy Spirit came and brought wisdom to me to understand these things, that when I heard other people talk about it, I kept them, or I figured it out too, and I kept on to it, and I've understood. And I guess I've always gone in with the best intention that I want my wife to be happy. I want to take care of her, And it's funny, maybe I'm a little extreme here. I don't even mind losing sometimes. I just want her to be happy, you know what I mean? And there's lines in the sand I have to draw, though. There are things that are important to me. But for the most part, I've learned to be very tender with her feelings.
Brother, strategic losing is one of the best moves you can learn.
I like that, Chris. Strategic losing, right? I like that a lot.
Yeah. It's a judo thing.
It is.
Use the conflict.
Use the momentum against them. Right?
Especially when it doesn't cost you too much.
It's true.
There's a lot of things that we fight because we like to fight.
Yeah.
We're men,
we know we're right.
Warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
And there'll be an issue, there'll be conflict, and it's not about the conflict. After you start fighting, it's about the fighting,
exactly.
not the conflict. And when you're fighting with somebody, you're trying to hurt. Yeah. You're trying to find the soft spots, the vulnerable places to inflict the most pain. But think it through, bro.
Yeah.
What do you get if you absolutely defeat your wife?
You lose.
Yeah, you lose.
Your children lose.
You get somebody who's totally crushed, compliant. They're hardly even animated anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah.
You want to hold your ground and explain who you are, but you want to keep foremost in your mind that you love this person.
Right.
In fact, if you can summon the discipline in the middle of a fight to say, before I say anything more, I want to tell you I love you, and I care for you, and I want your goodwill. I want things to work out great for you. Now let's continue fighting. If you can say that, man, it's like you melt her.
You're a high-level wizard at that point, man. You're knocking it out of the park. Or she might read through you and call it out.
Yes, that's true. Don't use your power on me.
Don't try that. No, but something scary though. That women sometimes will harbor hurt. So we'll constantly hurt them. Hurt. Mm. And that hurt will grow into bitterness, and the bitterness will turn into hatred. I've seen women leave men, they hate them.
Yeah.
And it's through years of just hurt.
It isn't one event. They learn to do it.
Right. And that bitterness, the hurt turns into bitterness, and the bitterness turns into hatred. Where they hate you. That's a crazy place to be. So be smart about this, man. But you have to sacrifice your own feelings on things.
Right.
I know I'm right. I'm always right about everything. There's nothing I've ever been wrong on in the history of my life. That's what we think. And we're pushing it on our wives. And sometimes you need to shut up. Really, just shut up.
Look at the master. Look at the master, man. We're both Christian men.
Yeah.
We look at our Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
What did he do when his wife was being a jerk? The wife of Christ is the church.
It's the church, yeah.
Right? And when we're being at our worst, he goes and dies on the cross for us.
Yeah.
He takes all the hit.
Right.
Takes it all. Says, that's my role, is to take it all. And brother, in a marriage, when you're in a conflict with your wife, if you can summon that courage to just take the hit.
Yeah.
Take it.
Take it.
It's worth it.
It's fine. I've given this advice to men, and I think women might get offended at it in some ways. They'll say something like, that's what she expects, and that's not right. I'd say, give it to her.
Yeah.
You're stronger than she is. You're stronger than she is. Now, over the span of your life, maybe not. But in today's issue, you have more strength. Eat it. It's okay. Take it. That one's important to her. You don't have to win, man. It's okay to lose.
That's what I'm talking about. That's strategic losing.
Strategic losing.
Yeah, look, I've got a handicapped son. My son does a lot of stuff that no normal person would ever get away with.
Yeah.
For one, he wakes me up every day at 3 a.m.
That's so funny.
3 a.m. he comes out to get me. And I got to get up with him, because if I don't get up with him, he'll start throwing everything on the house away, tearing up everything. He just goes crazy, like he's having an orangutan loose in your house in the middle of the night. Sweet guy. But I don't expect him to have the skills and the cognitive understanding, the sophistication to know that he is injuring me by getting me up at 3 in the morning.
Right.
Okay? In many ways, when you're dealing with when you're dealing with your wife, they're not handicapped, but they may not be able to do the thing that you think that somebody should be able to do. Mm-hmm. They just might not be able to do it.
Right.
And so when that's the math that's in order, just take the hit.
Take the hit. It's okay.
Take it. Okay. Yeah, you survive.
Yeah.
You get stronger. Eventually, you don't mind getting up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I do that every morning. And you know what? That's why I write my novels.
Yeah.
That's why I write my Secret Sunday service. I post on Facebook all the time. It's in those wee hours of the morning with my boy.
Right.
And I go to bed a little bit earlier.
Right.
That's the cost of doing business.
Right.
So the Bible says that women are the more delicate. And what they mean by that isn't a mark of weakness. It's a mark of sophistication and complexity.
Yeah.
Delicate, like a very fine, delicate electronic instrument.
Right.
Not a plumber's wrench like men. Brute force.
Right.
Usually we can turn the big nuts. We can do the big heavy duty lifting. They're delicate. So they're not suited for that kind of work. So you can't deal with them. You can't come after them with your giant, crowbar with their delicacy. You have to understand who they are.
Right.
And so a lot of times that means you have to take the industrial hits yourself.
Yeah.
That's your job. Stand up there like a warrior and take it.
Yeah. And it's funny. We don't realize it, but she's taking all kinds of hits for us.
Yeah.
She is. And they're off our radar. We don't even see them.
That's right.
So it goes both ways. Another thing that's funny, women prefer eye-to-eye contact.
Yeah.
I learned this with my daughter. When I talk to her, I have to turn my chair towards her and face her. Fathers talk to their sons best when we're taking drives in the car.
Yeah, we're not looking at each other.
We're not looking at each other like this and we're blabbing it up. It's so much more comfortable for us. Women prefer the intimacy of face-to-face, facing each other in conversation.
Right. A woman will say, listen to me with your eyes.
Right. But here's the thing that gets me. You're sitting there playing video games and she's talking to you and you're like, yeah, uh-huh. No. Dude, you are being a complete ass at that moment. You need to pull out, honestly. I don't care if it's live and they're depending on you to save the war or whatever they're doing. Dude, man, you got to pull out of that, man. I think a big struggle for men, too, is we could get lost in our hobbies, especially video games. And I think video games are fine. But what if you did this? Hey, honey, I'm only going to play it from this time to this time to give you the attention you deserve.
Right.
Or to make sure I'm not checking out.
Set an egg timer if you need to.
Yeah.
When the thing goes ding, you turn the thing off.
Yeah. And
wherever you're at.
Yeah. So to them, I don't think we realize as men how loving that is. If you told that, if I said, hey, Chris, every day I'm going to stop playing games so I can give you my attention. You're like, okay, whatever, dude, a little weird, Yeah. We don't get this stuff. We don't. But please hear what we're saying. And again, what applies. You may have that tomboy wife who's just awesome and you'll bother her if you talk too much. I don't know, but I think what we're saying for the most part has a lot of truth to it. And
it goes both ways. I had an incident where my wife she's a decorator, right? And she has all these beautiful vintage gowns that she collects because they look beautiful.
Yeah.
And one day I came home and she had put a number of them up on the curtain around our bed just for decoration. They were just ladies' garments, you know. I looked at that, and she was in the kitchen, so I went and got some of my underwear out and put that on hangers and put it up there as well, just to make a point.
Yeah.
It's like, I kind of live here too. You can't totally foofify this environment, you know, because a man still lives here.
Right.
And she understands. She understands, like, yeah, okay, I have to respect your world just the same way that I need to respect her world.
Exactly.
That's how you make it to 40 years.
This is all long haul stuff we're saying here.
That's right.
It's important. You know, another funny thing with my wife, and I'm losing it as I speak, unfortunately. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I lost that one. I had one and I loaded it up and I'm...
All right, well, I got one.
Okay.
Maybe the most powerful thing I've done in my 40 years of marriage is I own the dishes.
Yeah.
I told her, you never have to do dishes.
Yeah.
As long as I'm in the house. All the dishes are mine all the time.
Right.
So whatever mess you make in the kitchen, me.
Yeah.
I'll clean it all up. I'll do all the dishes, put them all away.
Yeah.
I just own that from this day forward.
Yeah.
Symbolically, what that did is relieve my wife from one of the most expected and humiliating tasks that women face all the time.
Right.
Because that's the way her family was. The men never did anything.
Right.
After the dinner, they all sat in the living room, watched the ball game, and let the women do all the cleanup.
Exactly.
The first day I showed up at the relative's house and I started doing the dishes, they all dragged me out of the kitchen.
Oh.
So what are you doing?
I would have mocked
idiot?
you. I would have mocked you so much. Yeah.
And I just realized that, look, this is a special thing I'm going to give my wife.
Right.
She's never going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Never have to deal with that drudgery.
Yeah.
Now, I don't do that for all the other things that she has to face. But I made a point.
Right.
I made her, and you know what? I'm pretty damn hard to kick to the curb because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get away with a lot and do a lot of bogus things, but there's not too many guys that, you know, will throw that chip down.
This means a lot to you. Know it means a lot to her, and then you have a solution for it. That goes a long way.
Yeah.
The one I was thinking about, man, tell your wife she's beautiful. Tell her she's pretty. My gosh, do we ignore these women? And they go through so much trouble for them. And they're dealing with such insecurities. Honey, you look really pretty. I love that dress. Oh, I love when you wear jeans. You know, throw it out there, man. I mean, be cool, be nice, be loving. She needs to know you think she's pretty. And that's just how it is, you know? So throw it out there. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
So Chris, wrapping this up though, if you had a bullet point, a few of the things we've been talking about, what would you say?
You got to be considerate. You have to realize there another person that has a right to exist the same as you do, but they're very different than you. So your job is to learn that difference, learn to speak their language, just as they learn to speak yours.
Right.
And if you do that, then both of you will face a different life experience, but you'll make it work together and have a life that's worth living together.
Yeah, that's good. I would say you be careful with your words. They really hurt and matter. The things we were talking about, understand her motivation when she's being that fun Nazi in your life and respect her for it, you know?
Yeah.
Love her, man. You have to tell her you love her. You have to show her you love her. And don't be cruel, man. Cruelness is ugly. It really is. And it just drives against their hearts.
That's not what a man does.
That's not,
Look, you know, we're shamelessly holding ourselves up as examples. I'm a warrior in my house, and I love my woman.
Yeah.
And I know Rick does too, and he's married to a black belt wife.
She's awesome.
She is awesome. Be like us.
Yeah.
Just join this fellowship of men that love our women, that are determined that our women will go through life feeling they are cherished.
Cherished and loved.
That's right.
And I think your children's life will be a lot better. You know, let me take it even to a step. If you're a divorced person, still treat your ex-wife well. Treat her well, because what you do to her, you're doing to the children.
That's right.
Know that, man. If your wife's sad or you're beating down on your wife, your children are feeling it.
Right.
It's so there, guys. So if you have an ex-wife and she's the biggest whatever, so what? Be kind to her. It's okay. It's for your children. It's okay to be kind. You don't have to get ugly. You don't have to mean revenge on her is you're taking that revenge out on her children. So be real careful with that one too.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Lord, We talked about a lot of things, and of course, this is just barely scratching the very surface of these issues. But I pray that something we said came home to somebody listening to us and made a difference. I pray that you would give them success as they determine to be a different kind of person with the one they love. In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus, we pray.
Amen.
Amen. God bless you guys, and
Adios.
good luck, man. Take care.